Hello and welcome to another edition of Andy Shed Live. This is Series 11, Episode 5 for Sunday, the 16th of October 2022. Hello there everybody, welcome to the show. We are with you live once again this Sunday evening. We've managed to get here, but it has all conspired against me a bit this week, so I'm here on a sort of wing and a prayer at the moment. If it could go wrong this week, it has gone wrong. And all I can say this week is, I would very much like to go and be a lighthouse keeper. Because people this week, do you ever have a week where you just wish they'd all go and, do one, basically. Yeah, but we're here anyway. Hello to everybody who is in the chat. Hello to Christopher and Dominic and various other people. It will populate itself. I'm sure. I'm not sure. I'm sometimes not sure this chat works quite the way it should, because sometimes it seems to stop all of a sudden and sort of like it's like it pauses somehow. Hello to Christopher and Dominic who are in the chat there already. I know there's other people on the stream as well, but they've not said anything in the chat yet, and I can't actually see you until you say something in the chat. Your name doesn't come up until you say something there. It is just a short show this week, as I say, because basically it's all gone a bit wrong. Oh, Maget's here as well. Hello, Maget. It's all gone a bit base over apex this week, if I'm entirely honest with you. So yeah, I just don't know whether I'm coming or going at 6s and 7s, as they say. But that's how it's panning out at the moment. So what is happening in the world of telephones? I've made a discovery. The saga of the CB telephone continues. Alright, let me grab it. Got to grab it and show you, because you'll never believe me if I don't tell you. This is how my week's been going. Back to worse. So, you may remember we got this and we were weeks and weeks trying to find a dial blank. Steve, I think it was, came up trumped with the dial blank and sent me the dial blank. I thought, oh brilliant, I'll get that finished off. So I did a dial centre to go in it, and I put the dial centre in. I thought, that's funny, hole seems a bit small. So then I got one of these opal things that you pop in, and guess what? Don't fit. Does not fit. So my first question for the evening is, what goes in the centre of there? Because it's not a standard one of those, and it's certainly not a standard one of those. So what goes in the centre of there? Because they do not fit in any way, shape or form. It's not even close to being a fit. So if anybody knows what should be in the centre of there, you know what to do. Get in touch with us if you've got the email address. If you've not got the email address, then you can fill in the contact us form on the website, which is, when I press the right button, which is here, andyshed.coldpress.net. You'll find the contact us form, like I say, on there, and you can get in touch and tell me what goes in the middle of those dial blanks, because it's obviously not a standard dial centre. So I've got no idea at all. Christopher said, do you get the photos of the rotary phone still in use at Sandringham Signal Box? I probably have somewhere, Christopher, but to be honest, it's been so mad this week I've not even looked at my emails. So let me have a little look, see if I can find it. Just talk amongst yourselves a moment. Yeah. Dominic says, how bizarre, I always thought it would fit a standard dial opal. Yeah, me too, Dominic. I was absolutely gobsmacked when I found it didn't fit. But yeah, that's the sort of week I've been having. Uh, right, what have we got here? Let's have a look. Look in the right inbox. That must be the one. PMG rotary telephone still in use. Sandringham signal box. I'm assuming that's Sandringham in Australia, not Sandringham in the UK. Right, now let me get the right thing up. There we go, that's the one, I think. So here's the phone, still in use in the signal box. There you have it. In Sandringham signal box, apparently. And is there another photo of it? Oh, that's the signal box itself, isn't it? Yeah, it looks a very well kept signal box. Signal boxes usually are well kept, but that looks quite modern for a signal box, doesn't it? Sort of modernist sort of sofa thing there. And yeah. Right, have we got any more? Let's have a look. See if I think there's another one. Oh, there's a signal box from the outside. It's a nice looking traditional signal box there. Very similar to the British ones. Very alike with the British ones. What's in the bottom of the signal box? Not often do you see a signal box with windows in the bottom. So there must be something in the bottom of there. They're normally just sort of storerooms. There's normally lots of rods and levers and things that go up through that bottom bit into the top. Christopher says yes. This Sandringham signal box is in Sandringham in Melbourne. Yeah. Excellent. I'll say if you've got any photos you want to send in, feel free to do so. So that is that. Has anything else come in this week? Like I say, I've not even checked my blooming email. It's been that manic. Oh, he sent us a street light as well. Yeah, Christopher's got a street light as well. This is a Sylvania B2224 street light. It says it dates from 1995 and it's 80 watts mercury vapor bulb for those who are interested. Let's see if I can show you the photo. There we go. Dates from 1995, did I say? It somehow look. It's odd that, because the globe thing on it looks much older than the rest of the street light, doesn't it? There's the choke and that, and inside it. And there's the casting with the part number on. And there's the bulb, and it's a Sylvania bulb in it as well, 80 watts. That's not much actually for a street light. A lot of the street lights that they had incandescent bulbs in it were generally 100 watts. But perhaps a mercury lamp gives out more light at lower watts. And there it is lit. I'm not sure it does actually shine green like that. I think mercury vapor lamps are generally white, aren't they? But that's probably just a trick of the camera with the white balance on the camera making it look a bit green. Yeah, excellent. All wired up and everything. Great stuff. Cool. Right, I think that's about it. Oh, we were talking about war phones as well, weren't we? Yeah. Um, yeah, we were talking about war phones the other week, and we were talking about about this bit, this thing that goes in a Bakelite war phone. This kind of ring that holds the dial in, and I thought, I can't say I've ever seen one. Well, Gambo sent us some photos of his two. One has got the ring and one hasn't. There is the ring, that metal bit in the middle of there. That is the thing that we're talking about here. And there's one without it. So yeah, that's what it looks like without it. And there they are, side by side, with and without. So yeah, I had no idea. I've not got one of those GPO style wall phones in Bakelite. So this was something new that I learnt about this ring, and I can't say that I've ever seen one of those before. But I will now keep an eye out for them. Now I know what they actually look like. So thanks for that. Dominic says, did you see the interesting Manx Telecom phone boxes that I saw? Yeah, you sent me that email a while back, didn't you, Dominic? But I don't think we've ever featured it. Let's have a little look, see if I can find it. No, I can't actually. Hang on. No, I can't. I have seen it though. Did it go to a different email address? I'm just looking through all my emails with attachments, but maybe it wasn't. Oh, Isle of Man Railways. Isle of Man Railways. So here's a compartment on the Isle of Man Railways. It's taken by Dominic a few weeks ago. There's a compartment in the train. The maquette on those seats is actually interesting, because I believe that is the same maquette as Blackpool use on their heritage trams, except Blackpool use it in green, not in red. But it looks like the same pattern, just in different colours to me. That does. Probably made by Holsworth, I should imagine. And there's a controller on one of the trams on, that looks like it's on the Manx Electric to me. Made by the British Thomson Houston Co Limited in Rugby. Fairly common controllers actually, those, you know, in the day. And here we are on the Preserve Railway again. And inside one of the trams on the Manx Electric. I can't see a controller on that one, so is that a trailer car? That might be a trailer car, that one. Very interesting seats. I can't say that I've ever seen a tram seat quite like that with an armrest built into it before. Very similar to on Toast Rack 166 at Cryche. Because the back, rather than the back flipping backwards and forwards, it actually flips over, I think, on those, doesn't it, by the looks of it. The seat back. I'm back on the railway again. There's Maitland. And on the Manx Electric, one of the cars, very similar to a Blackpool and Fleetwood boxcar. Actually, they are built at a similar sort of time in history. That is number 7. It's pulling a trailer there. Don't know what number the trailer is, but it's in a heritage livery for the Douglas and Laxey electric tramway, which doesn't exist anymore as far as I'm aware. But they painted a few of the Manx electric trams in various different heritage liveries a few years ago, and this is one of them. It looks quite smart in blue. I quite like that. Not sure about the yellow edge to the steps though. So yeah, there is the Manx electric. Have we got any more? Yeah, he's taken some more. Right, here we are. Here we are inside one of the trams. Hang on. There we are. That's it. Fantastic ceiling. All the wooden planking and that in that. It's a great bit of woodwork, that, isn't it? Oh, it's car number 1, which I believe is the oldest. Probably says somewhere on that poster actually. I believe it's the oldest regularly working electric tram. Yeah, it does say on that poster. It has the world's record alongside car number 2 as the oldest trams in the world still in operation on their original line. We've got 1 and 2 are still there on the Isle of Man. Oh, and here's the phone box. Here's the heritage phone box. I'm liking the bit of rope round it to hold the door shut. I assume that is no longer operational then, that phone box. It looks like it's concreted in though. Probably stop anybody pinching it. But did they have red phone boxes at the Isle of Man? Or is that one that's been put there later? It kind of looks like it's been put there, but I wouldn't like to say for certain. They are very rare actually. These sort of more modern phone boxes are more rare actually now than original ones are. And here we are. It looks like this is like the top of Snaefell with car number 1 there. Oh, we've put the brakes on this time. Yeah, and you can actually see from the top of Snaefell, which anybody who's ever been up Snaefell will tell you, you get up there and you often can't see your hand in front of your face. But there's car number 1 on the Snaefell Mountain Railway, showing you just how high it gets. That that's interesting, because I thought Snaefell ran up on a rack. No, it has a fell rail in the middle, doesn't it? A braking fell rail. But I think they often don't use the fell rail now because they had the cars re-equipped with more modern electric braking that they got second hand from somewhere on the continent and fitted this electric braking to them, so they didn't need to use the fell rail as a service brake anymore. But I think they do still use it as an emergency brake, you know, as a kind of backup, but obviously there's no fell rail in the middle of that bit of track there, so they must be able to wind the shoes up that clamp onto it. They must be able to wind them right up out of the way, because obviously there is no fell rail there in the station. So that's quite interesting in itself. Right. Are there any more? Yeah, he took a few more. Right, what we got here? Oh, and here we are now on the horse tramway. There you go, Torrin the horse there. They sold some of the trams off of the horse tramway a few years ago. And here we are, more phone boxes, more modern phone boxes than the previous one. Still fairly heritage looking though. Important information about this public call box. Please see inside the call box for details of the proposed withdrawal of the payphone service and equipment. This does not necessarily mean the phone box or kiosk will be removed. The 60-day period of notice starts from 19th of April 2021, and inside there is information on how to object and find out more about options to retain the payphone service. So I think the period of time for objecting may now have passed, but look at the state of that phone box. Dear me. And car 33 on the Manx Electric. Why is he tying the trolley to the top of that van? Got no idea what's going on there. Yeah, crossbench car 33. I wonder how they get away with things like diptach specifications and disabled access on the Manx Electric, or do they not worry about things like that on the Isle of Man? Seems strange that Blackpool said, oh, we've got to have all new trams so people in wheelchairs can get on, yet just across the water in the Isle of Man, not a million miles away from it, they're still carrying on with the original heritage trams with no modern vehicles whatsoever. Right, okie dokie. Hang on, oh, what's happening there? Oh, it's all gone a bit wrong. Hang on, there we go. So yeah, so that is Dominic's photos from the Isle of Man. Dominic says the Groudle Glen Railway was closed when he visited, so he's got to go back and do that. Yeah, go and have a look at Groudle Glen. Gambo says, I've sent some emails to you, Andy. Cheers, Gambo. It might take them a while to get here because my emails don't necessarily arrive immediately. Sometimes it takes them about a quarter of an hour to get here, so it's all to do with the way the email gets checked and stuff. Because we don't use Google Mail anymore. Chris says he sent an email showing the Australian phone socket. And where it says, I think Manx Telecom was acquired by a private equity fund. Yeah, possibly. That's probably why it's closed all its phone boxes. And Chris says, I sent an email of another signal box. Cool. Right. Okay, dokie. So I think we've caught up with the emails I've got for now. The others will probably come through at some point this evening. Because like I say, it's not instantaneous in any way, shape or form these days, my email. No idea why, but it's just not. So yeah, so that is that. What else have we got on today? Yeah, it's been a weird old week this week. Like I say, it's all gone a bit wrong. The mirrorphone thing that I've still got over here, still not had any joy making it ring. It works in every way now except for ringing. What I can tell you is this wiring diagram for it which came off the British Telephone's website. Helps to get that way up, doesn't it? Which is allegedly for a Miraphone K, which is the later design of the Miraphone. They must have altered the wiring again after this, because the phone does not comply to this wiring diagram, and being as I'd wired it to this wiring diagram, that's probably why it doesn't ring. But I've traced some of the wires, and this bears absolutely no resemblance to where the wires actually go in the phone. So there must be another revision to this that's not featured on the website where I got this from. So just be aware if you've got a Miraphone, particularly a Miraphone K or Muraphone K or whatever you want to call it, that this diagram that you can find online might not be correct for your phone, because it's certainly not correct for the one I've got here. So that's taking a bit of sorting out to get working for its owner, but we'll get there in the end. So yeah, it's not been a very good week this week. It's all gone a bit wrong, really. So yeah, hoping the coming week's going to be better. It's hard to imagine how it could be worse, but I'm sure they'll find a way. Right, so yeah, so that's all that has been happening. For those of you that have been asking about the radio station is still coming together. Not quite sure what we're going to do now. It's getting to the stage now where we've got to decide to launch or not to launch, or to wait a bit, or whatever. And it is kind of getting to that stage now. And the camera's a bit wonky. Hang on. No, that's even worse. So yeah, you know, it's kind of we're waiting to see now with the radio station. But we've got most of the equipment working. There's still some things that want wiring up. We've got a professional CD player, twin CD player now. That is working, just needs wiring into the board. I've been up there today, actually. Also got a load of CDs, and I mean a load of CDs this week to enhance the music collection. So they've all got to be ingested into the computer system that runs the Playhouse software, and that takes ages. So if anybody fancies sitting at Plesley Vale feeding in CDs and that, let me know, because I could have a little job for you if anybody's got a few hours to spare. Wesley says, have you got your broadband connection sorted for the station? No, not yet, Wesley. We've got the address sorted, because the unit that it's in a business centre, it's a big old mill, what they call Mill 3 at Plesley Vale Business Park, and the little unit that it was in didn't have a postal address, and because it didn't have a postal address, I couldn't sign up for broadband. The good news is it has now got a postal address, so I've now started looking at broadband providers to see who can provide the best deal, or indeed any deal, because not all the providers seem to service where we are, because we are in a bit of a remote place. This mill, being an old textile mill, is a couple of miles from anywhere, because it's, you know, it's where there was a water course, so it's not in a built up area. So hence a lot of the people that supply broadband, particularly fibre broadband, when you go onto their websites and type in the postcode, it says, sorry, we do not serve this address, sort of thing. So so that continues that little saga of the broadband. So we're looking into seeing who we can get to provide the broadband, but then we'll be able to do a few more bits and pieces once we get the broadband installed. Dominic says, is the Sony TC377 wired in? it's repaired and it's working. It's not permanently wired into the mixer as yet, but it is there, sat on the desk and working. If you plug a pair of headphones into it, you can play stuff off it. I've been given another reel-to-reel tape machine this week as well, a sort of little portable one, and it got a reel of tape on it. The machine was jammed up and it got a reel of tape on, so I carefully unjammed, because all this tape had got all wound around the caps and God knows what. So I carefully unjammed it all and wound all this tape back onto the spool, thinking, is it going to be something exciting on this tape? So I carefully straightened it all out and put it back on the spool, and I put it on your machine, Dominic, and played it, and it turns out it's opera. So I kind of wish I hadn't bothered. Sorry if you're an opera fan. Then if you are an opera fan, get in touch. I've got a tape for you. Gambo says, my Bakelite telephones, I've got one ringing, a 333L, but nothing working on the handset, and even when the hook switch is off hook, it still rings. So swapping parts in attempt to diagnose what's wrong. I think you're going exactly the right way about that, Gambo, by swapping the parts to make the diagnosis. It sounds like the problem is contacts on the hook switch. It sounds like there's something not contacting, or something that is contacting when it shouldn't be there, because the act of lifting the receiver off the hook and putting it back down again is obviously making no difference to it. So yeah, it sounds like you've got a problem with the contacts there. Wesley says, I got a Sony Walkman for Christmas in 1985. I hope you've still got it, Wesley. They're worth a penny or two now, Sony Walkman. Gambo says, I've got a Walkman with built-in radio, FM and medium wave. Wow. What sort of bandwidth do you need, says Wesley, for the radio station? Not a massive amount, Wesley. Actually, for the stream, not a massive amount. This that I'm doing now, that is coming to you now, this does not come to you over fibre. This is actually coming to you over copper, which is why, you know, if I wave my hands about, you see it all goes a bit blurred, because it's not a very high frame rate. It's only running on about 15 or 20 frames a second. It should be up to 30 frames per second, but it cuts it down if it needs to automatically. But so this is coming over copper. So a copper thing for the radio station, so obviously not got to send video, so you've not got to send anywhere near as much information, would probably do. But because there's going to be more than the stream going out, because there might be like some of the people that appear on the station might be on Zoom calls and stuff like that, so there's going to be traffic coming in and traffic going out that is in addition to the actual stream for the radio, then we might need a faster internet connection to cope with all that. So I am looking at fibre, but it doesn't have to be mega fast fibre. It just has to be somewhere sort of middle ground, I think. So and the problem is it's also asymmetrical. So your download speeds are a lot faster than your upload speeds, and uploads are what matter to us. So I would like to think we'd get away with something like 5 or 10 meg up. You know, I think that's to be comfortable 5 or 10 meg up. I think we'd be all right there. Where she says, when you say you're on copper, it'll be fibre to the cabinet though. They've never told us it's fibre to the cabinet. I'm kind of assuming it is by now, but we've never actually been told that. Hello, all of a sudden, I'm watching the stream on, says it's gone offline. Oh, it's back online again. So yeah, we probably are fibre to the cabinet, but of course what matters is that last bit from the cabinet to here. Because if that's still copper, there is only a certain amount of bandwidth you can get through that copper cable. So that does restrict it. But here it's not too bad when it's working right, but it's not always working right. What I haven't managed to suss about it is, what do you do when the internet goes down? Because internet regularly goes down. You may not notice it because it might happen in the middle of the night, but I bet once every 24 hours your internet does go off for at least a few minutes. I don't know if they reset it or what it is, but I've noticed it in the middle of the night. So all of a sudden the router will go crazy because it's lost its connection and things. So obviously a 24-hour radio station, you need to keep your stream up all the time. So do we need 2 connections for redundancy? I don't know. It's one I'm only just starting to investigate now. That we thought it would best to get the studio built before we looked at the actual internet side of it, because we thought it's no point paying for internet when the studio's not ready. So that's the way I looked at it. Christopher says, I've been filming trains around Melbourne, but half the trains I wanted to film have not run, and half the regional trains have been shut down due to flooding. And over here, Christopher, half the regional trains have been shut down due to railway strikes. But that's nothing new. So yeah, trains across the world seem to be having problems at the moment with adverse weather and striking staff, and oh dear, yeah, it's not a good time to be travelling by rail, I don't think. But yeah, lots of people on strike here in the UK at the minute, all whinging about the rising cost of living. So they're all going on strike, and then of course the companies that they work for get less work because, well, you can't use the services that are provided because they're on strike, and so people make alternative arrangements, use other companies, and then the companies with the people that are on strike end up having to lay their staff off because they've not got the customers anymore. So to my mind, strikes defeat the purpose. I mean, the miners' strike, the famous miners' strike in the mid-1980s, certainly didn't do the miners any good because they shut all the pits very soon after. It seems to be happening with the post office here in the UK now, where they've just announced something like 6,000 job losses because they're on strike, and I think something very similar will happen with the railways. So I've never quite understood why it is that people go on strike. If you don't like the job you've got, or if you're not happy with the money in the job you've got, why don't you just leave and go and get a job where you are happy with it and are happy with the money? Why strike? Why not just leave and go do something else that you are happy with? Why put yourself through all that trauma of having to go on strike? I don't get it. There you go. Rant over. Yeah. Oh, it's all stopped again. Dominic says, do you remember what model of Walkman you had, Wesley? Yeah, that's a good question. Christopher says, New South Wales and South Australia and regional Victoria, Australia have flooding. You might see it on the UK news. Crikey, is it that bad? Yeah. Thing is, Australia seems to have either no water at all or lots of water. It doesn't have a happy medium, does it? Yeah. So you'll be having problems with washed away tracks and stuff like that then, I guess, with the railways. I remember that happened on the Great Orme Tramway a few years ago. I went to Llandudno just after they'd had a flood in Llandudno, and I walked up the Great Orme Tramway. I walked up the track bed because the tramway wasn't running, and there were places where there was tram track and sleepers just suspended in mid-air because it had come down the mountain and washed all the ballast out from under the track, and the track was just 5, 10, 15 foot in the air because all the ground had been washed away from under it. Amazing, the power of rain and power of water is just incredible. Christopher says that the part of Australia I live in is not in flood, so that's good. No need to get your Wellington boots out then. Yeah, floods are not good news. I'm quite lucky here that I'm on top of a hill, so if things get flooded here, it'll probably not reach me. It's got to be very deep water to get where I am, because I'm right on top of a hill. It's the only time when being on top of a hill is useful. The rest of the time it's just damn cold. Right. So yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. So you're all kind of up to date now. I think with everything. As I say, it's just going to be a short one tonight because, to be honest, I'm so behind at getting stuff done this week. It's unreal. I was supposed to be at Cromford Mill with some stationary engines today. I didn't make it there. It's just been a bad week, but hopefully we'll get back to some degree of normality next weekend. You may have noticed at least the stream is back in its normal home, and we've got the chat back on the side. I'm not having to do it off a mobile phone anymore like I did last week when we were up in the loft, but who knows about next week. So yes, anything could happen between now and next week. It really could. So yeah, we shall see. Right, so I think we're going to call it a day for today, and it sure as hell has been. And we will see you all back here next week. Like I say, so it's only been a short one, but hell exploded job this week. We will try to get back to some semblance of normality next week. And I believe we're into November next. Is it next week we're into November? No, week after next, isn't it? Week after next, yeah. So yeah, Christmas is coming. Oh no. So thanks to everybody for taking part once again. Like I say, so it's been a really short one. Remember, if you like what we do here, you can always join us on Patreon. I shall give you the address. It's there, patreon.com/Andy's Shed. And there's also the forum where we're not online. You can go and take a look at the forum. gpotelephones.proboards.com is the address for that too. So thanks to everybody for taking part again. Remember, if you know anything about these and why they do not fit in the middle of a dial blank on a CB telephone, please get in touch. And let us know what does fit in the middle of a dial blank on a CB telephone, because I was really surprised at that when I found out it didn't fit. Yeah, that's completely stumped me, that one. So we need to find out. I need to get that phone finished. It's been sat here long enough. I need to get it done. I have also got another one that we're going to be tackling next week. If I can get a hold of it. Oh, God, it's getting tangled up. We've got this one. Look at the state of that. Yeah, 706, a red 706, dating from 1964. That's just how it's arrived with me. So we're going to try and do a bit of restoration on that, hopefully on here next week. So if you want to see a 706 restoration, be here next week around about the same time, I think 6:30, and we will crack on with that. In the meantime, if you know anything about mirror phones as well, if you've got a very late mirror phone, one you think was made in the 1960s perhaps, if you've got a wiring diagram for it, I'm all ears, because I'm having quite a bit of difficulty with that. I'm going to try and crack on with it in the week this week. If I do manage to get a breakthrough with it, I will film it, and then you'll be able to see what I've done, how I've got around the problems with it. Wesley says, I had a 706 CB that used a 300 type dial label cover. That's interesting. Are 300 type covers the same size as these then? Or are they a bit smaller? Because they're just basically a cut piece of plastic film, aren't they? So I wonder if they're a bit smaller. I honestly don't know. I shall look into that. Thanks for that one, Wesley. Thanks for that tip. Yeah. Christopher says, I live in an apartment, so if Melbourne flooded, I'll be alright. Cool. That's what you need to do. Live high up, I think. Yeah. Right, okay, that is about it for now. Thanks to everybody for taking part once again. We will see you back here, same time, same place next week. Remember Patreon, remember the website, andyshed.coldpress.net, and we will see you here next time. I am getting through my emails, people, so if you've not had a reply from me as yet, stick with it. It's just taking a bit of doing. But I promise I will. I will see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.